Chargers at Jaguars, 8:15 Saturday night prime time.
That's beautiful.
It is. Shout out to the NFL.
I feel like I have a general idea of where you are going to lie, you're going to lie. However, with you, for some reason, I have a hard time gauging which side you're going to choose here.
I don't even know
because
honestly.
Yes, there is a history where you have supported Justin Herbert, and you do give him the recognition that he deserves from time to time.
So is Trevor Lawrence.
When it's fitting. However, now you've definitely been vocal about Trevor Lawrence this season. So I do wonder which way you will pick.
Well, when they matched up in Week 3, the Jaguars beat the Chargers 38-10.
Yep.
I think the score was misleading. I didn't think it was that big of a discrepancy when I watched it. In the third quarter, it was 16-10, so it was a very close game. I will say this. Justin Herbert versus Trevor Lawrence since Week 9. Lawrence is 4th in EPA per play. Herbert is 10th. These are two quarterbacks that are one of the best movers in the pocket in the league right now. They mitigate a lot of the issues on the offensive line. I think the difference in this game is neither quarterback. I really don't look at the quarterbacks, and I think that's the difference in the game. I look at Brandon Staley and what he's been able to do with the Chargers secondary in the second half of the season, which has been a top 5 pass defense in the second half of the season. I see what they did to the Dolphins. And at the time, we thought that offense was unstoppable. And I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have some trouble. I do. I have the Chargers winning this game 23-16. So it'll be a close game. The Jaguars defense are 27th. They have 27 takeaways this season, which is 4th. So they take away the ball a lot. But I think Herbert protects the ball a lot. And their defense is good. They get after. They're 10th in defensive EPA. They have a sound pass defense. Tyson Campbell is an underrated cornerback, one of the better ones in the league. I think this year, top 15, top 10 for sure. And their defensive line is really good at stopping the run. But I just look at the Chargers secondary. I know that in terms of run defense, they're not very good.
Terrible.
But I think they will limit them for the most part on the run, on the ground. And we've seen Trevor Lawrence in these big-time games.
He's looked better.
I don't know. I don't know. You know,
against the Jets.
I think Trevor Lawrence still has to show me more.
Against the Titans, he was mid at best.
Against the Titans, he missed multiple throws, and
Division game.
I thought Josh Dobbs for the most part. Josh Dobbs for the most part looked better.
Yeah,
he did.
But,
that is not a crazy statement.
It's not, but
Dobbs is hitting some throws.
I see Trevor Lawrence when he had a wide open receiver in the back of the end zone completely miss him. And those are the type of plays in the playoffs that you miss that, you lose the game. You know, luckily they were facing the Titans and Josh Dobbs, and they didn't. But if that was a do or die, win or go home game against a better offense, against a better quarterback, the Jaguars lose. And guess what? The Chargers have a better quarterback. They have a better offense, and that defense is also better too on the secondary. And Brandon Staley, for as much shit that he gets, I thought the decision to keep Mike Williams in the game and his starters for the most part Week 18 was a bad one.
Weird.
Pass defense, he is among the best coaches at that defensively and scheming up for that.
So.
And I definitely think that the Chargers win this game.
Definitely.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you think this is a
I'll tell you what. Let me back.
Let me tell you.
I'm in the exact same belief. So go ahead, finish.
My Boom Fantasy lock.
Oh, here we go.
Is Justin Herbert over 37.5 pass attempts for this game.
Genius. That's exactly what I put too. I feel like they're going to have to pass the ball, especially if they want to win. Eckler's receiving yards were intriguing. They were.
Around 30.
Yeah, it was around like 36, I believe, something like that. But I definitely did go with the Justin Herbert over on attempts. But what it comes down to me, really, is Justin Herbert needs to win this game. Because Justin Herbert already has solidified himself statistically. Statistically, he is the best quarterback to ever touch a field in the first 3 seasons of their career. He has already 5,000-yard season. He's, I think, now 2 years in a row where he was top 2 in passing yards. Justin Herbert is one of the best quarterbacks this game has ever seen. And I say that very confidently. He needs to win this game because he needs to make sure that there are no more doubters of Justin Herbert. This game where it is a pretty fair matchup, absolutely. This is, to me, the game of the week. This is the game that I circled that I'm going to sit there start to finish. I cannot wait for this one. It's going to be electric. Because, listen, I am also a fan of Trevor Lawrence as well. I understand what he brings to the game. But what Joel said is a fact. That last week against the Titans was concerning to me. I was expecting him to be more confident, more active, and it just seemed like he was a little hesitant to me and not as confident in his abilities that we've seen in weeks prior. I believe, especially with the Titans in their secondary, the rush defense has been great all season, but the secondary he should have been able to take advantage of. But Justin Herbert has a lot more on the line than Trevor Lawrence does. Trevor Lawrence wasn't supposed to be here. There were expectations for the Chargers this season. People had the Chargers going to the Super Bowl prior to this season. Justin Herbert.
You did. I forgot you did.
And listen, man, I don't blame you. On paper, prior to this season, there are very few rosters more talented than the Chargers. But they're getting healthy at the right time. Is Joey Bosa suiting up 100%?
Yeah, he played.
He did play. That's great to see.
Him and Khalil Mack.
And Mike Will is a TBD right now.
Yeah, I think he's leaning towards yes.
He's playing.
But he might be,
When Keenan Allen and Mike Will have returned back to the field, this offense has been completely different. And Justin Herbert was kind of keeping things afloat with just Palmer and Carter and Eckler, of course. We see it, and Gerald Everett. You can't count him out of the offense as well.
Yeah.
But now you see what happens when you have one of the best in the game in Keenan Allen, one of the better receivers in Mike Will, who has really shut me up also, doing it again this season when he's on the field. He makes exciting play after exciting play. And Austin Eckler continuing to be one of the best running backs in the game. But the story to me is Justin Herbert. There is so much on the line for Justin Herbert and his legacy. He needs to get past round one because there will be people telling you that Herbert is not as good as he actually is and as we actually know he is. So this game's bigger than just a regular playoff game, week one playoff game. No, I'm sorry. This is a legacy game for Justin Herbert, absolutely.
Where are you going, Mr. Brown?
It's against the Jags.
No, absolutely. You could say
no, but it's facts.
No,
It's
no,
not-
I get
what you mean.
I know, it's just funny, yeah.
That point
It's against the
exactly.
Jags.
It's against the
No,
Jags.
I just
and
never-
if he loses to the Jaguars, people are going to destroy his name.
I just never heard a legacy game against the Jaguars.
The
It's
Jaguars
fine,
are
that's true.
different now. Also, you could laugh.
Yeah, they're
a
not the
different
same.
team.
Yeah,
Hey,
they're not
man.
the laughing stock of the league by any
like
means.
people are saying the exact. It's the Bengals.
Listen,
it's
I just
the Bengals.
Remember
I
that year
just-
Tom Brady GOAT played the Jags.
I mean, I had the
Don't
Jags making the
forget.
playoffs. I had them early in the season.
Nah, we don't need a comment like that after you just disrespected them. We don't need that.
At what point did you
We
have
need-
when did you have the
Wait,
Jags?
no, you had the
Please be
Colts
quiet.
winning division. Then
Yeah,
you
the
switched
Titan,
up.
no, then he had the Titans, and then he had
no,
the Jags for
I had
maybe
the
a
Jags.
week.
I had
No, it was
Jags.
Colts and Jags. I
Jags
don't
all the
think.
way.
You
baby.
had three. You picked three different winners that
But that
division.
division
I
does
think-
stink.
I mean, so did
I
I.
hope-
but
I hope
I'm
that-
not flexing anything.
I hope the best of the best quarterbacks take care of business in Burrow, Allen, and Herbert, because it'll give us the best possible divisional round playoffs that we've seen. We're going to see Allen versus Burrow, Herbert versus Mahomes, but we need that. And I hope that they all take care of business. But this is the toughest AFC playoff game to pick for sure.
Yeah.
You said something very interesting. You said Trevor Lawrence doesn't have much pressure. And I disagree. I think when you're a generational prospect, you have all the pressure in the world from day one.
Fair.
I think especially in year two, making the playoffs, that's pressure in itself because franchise quarterbacks don't become made in the regular season. They become made in the playoffs.
100%.
And even though Trevor Lawrence is a generational prospect, you still have to do something in the playoffs. What do we criticize Tua for? What do we criticize Hurts for? What have you done for me in the playoffs? So I think Trevor Lawrence does that pressure, especially with the fan base, the way they've rolled into the playoffs. They were a little bit hot towards the end of the year. They rolled into the playoffs without really having a chance early on. The pressure is on. The city of Jacksonville is behind this team. So they are all in on this quarterback, and they have to show something. The Chargers are the better team, I feel like. They have the better quarterback. They're the better team. They should win this game. But something about the Jaguars story makes me want to lean Trevor Lawrence. And Doug Peterson, he's been in here before. He knows what it takes. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL. I'm going to lean Jacksonville on this one. I think this game is a 50-50. I think these teams are really close. As much as I do like Justin Herbert, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I think the Jaguars, I think Trevor Lawrence will have a big day. I think Travis Etienne will have a big day. I think this offense will come to play. And they just have too much riding on this game. They came in hot. They have that weight on their shoulders, that underdog mentality on their shoulders, and that's going to pull them out for the win. So I got the Jaguars winning this game. And to just throw my boom fantasy in there, Travis Etienne is 15.5 receiving yards. I have that over. He's hit that 4 times this year, especially as of late. He had 39 yards, 24 yards in his last 2 games. I think he hits that pretty comfortably because I do think this is an ETN game, and I think the Jaguars steal this one on the road.
It's going to be, I think, maybe the best game of the weekend. This is going to be.
Better fucking should.
It really could be. You have 2 of the, young stud quarterbacks, both first time in the playoffs. And you have Brandon Staley, who's definitely improved. I think if he didn't make the playoffs, he's a lock to get fired. If they get embarrassed in this game, there's still a chance, I think, especially with all the Sean Payton rumors out there, that he does get fired. And then you have Doug Peterson on the other side, first year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He wants to put a stamp on this season, which has already been a success getting into the playoffs. None of us predicted that to start the year. I think outside of the quarterbacks, obviously that matchup is going to be what everyone's talking about, is the status of Mike Williams, which you alluded to earlier. The fact that Brandon Staley even left his players in that game, some players into the fourth quarter. He removed Justin Herbert in the third quarter. Keenan Allen was still in there in the fourth quarter. Keenan Allen's 30 years old. Mike Williams, 28, 29 years old. What are these guys? They don't need reps. They need rest and to stay healthy. Because of that, unfortunately, Mike Williams did get banged up. He is expected to play, but there's probably a decent chance he's limited in some capacity. Obviously, he uses his athleticism more than anything to make plays down the field. But he is expected to play, which is obviously going to be huge for this offense. For how great Trevor Lawrence has been this season, especially the second half of the year, week 9 on, really, he's been statistically one of the best quarterbacks in the league. If the Jags want to win this game, it's going to be on the ground. The Chargers are, once again, one of the worst rush defenses in the league, allowing around 150 rushing yards per game. I do like that. I actually can't say what I do like on Boom Fantasy, but ETN, I think will have a pretty good game going up against this pretty bad rush defense. And because of that, I think Trevor Lawrence can be able to make some plays. I know this is a good secondary, but if you're going to be able to get that run game going, that just opened up the pass game. We also saw Trevor Lawrence play a good defense in the Jets, and he used his legs a ton in that game, whether it was read option or just straight up scrambling when plays were breaking down. He had a bunch of rushing yards against the Jets. It wouldn't surprise me if he did that once again. And especially over this 5-game win streak that the Jaguars have had, which is kind of a storyline coming in. Oh, there's a hot team. They won all these games. So have the Chargers. But over this 5-game win streak for Jacksonville, they beat Josh Dobbs and the Titans, Davis Mills and the Texans, Zach Wilson / Chris Trevor and the Jets. And they did beat Dak Prescott. This defense did allow 34 points, but they came back great. Comeback win in overtime. But the Chargers, to their own right, have won 5 out of their last 6. Their only loss really coming against Week 18 against the Broncos when they pulled their starters. They do have Justin Herbert. They do have the more talented offense and talented team all around, I would say. I've been going back and forth on this game all week as I've been doing the notes. I had the Jaguars and the Chargers, the Jaguars. I think I've settled on the Jaguars. I think it's going to be a close game.
After you said the Chargers going to the Super Bowl?
I think it's going to be.
That's actually fucking nuts.
I've made that prediction week 1. I don't give a fuck.
No confidence.
I do have the Jags winning 24-21. I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a toss-up. I haven't had a Chargers agenda. I just thought they'd go to the Super Bowl.
You're flipping the side, brother.
Am I?
I'm going to be honest, Joel. Come on, bro.
Have I talked about the Chargers?
No. Listen, my quarrel has nothing to do with this conversation.
Okay.
My quarrel has to do with, one, a little bit. You had a lot of belief in the Chargers. The Jaguars are scaring you off?
This is a good
They're a good team.
They're a good team. They're at home. They won the division. I trust Doug Peterson more than I do Brandon Staley.
The reason you have them because they won the division.
They were home weren't they last week?
Reason?
I mean,
I'm not saying
well
that.
said.
I'm just
They were home last
good,
week
because
against the Titans.
Don't worry,
And
I
they
got the
looked
Jags too.
mid. The crowd is going to be rowdy. It is going to be rowdy. It is going to be an insane environment. Absolutely.
Doug Peterson will have his boys
when they had the strip sack fumble and they went up, the crowd was deafening in that building.
Look, the Jazz could definitely beat
the
them.
Chargers aren't going to.
I just
You
didn't
said
think you'd pick them.
you said definitely the Chargers will win.
yeah.
So now the Jags could definitely be.
Listen.
We're a
No,
bro,
it's a toss-up game
close
to me.
game.
It's a
What's the
toss-up
line?
game to me. It's
What's the line on
minus.
Vegas?
I think
it's 1.5.
Chargers.
Come on, bro. That's literally need
Chargers
to
are, I believe, 2 point.
My
road
only
favorites.
issue is that you said the Chargers will definitely win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
now
why.
you're
That's
telling
why I
me
was
I think
confused.
The Jags
no,
can definitely win.
I think
What's
the
going
Chargers
on?
will win. But if the Jaguars win, am I going to be like,
line.
my goodness, wow.
Of course not. I feel the same way. It's a toss-up game. This is the
I wouldn't be
the
shocked.
only toss-up
they
in the
can
AFC.
win. Yeah, they can win. Sorry if
I would be shocked if the
definitely
Chargers
in there.
lost, honestly.
Really?
I'd be shocked. They shouldn't lose this game. I
But
understand their way,
The
but they shouldn't
Chargers'
lose.
organizational history doesn't move you. That they just kind
Justin
of
Herbert was not a part of the past.
I
Philip
didn't
Rivers is
expect
fine
you to
good.
have the
It's
Jags.
It's not Justin
You
Herbert.
didn't expect me to?
No, I
Good,
more
you know?
expected him to have the Jags. I'll be honest.
I thought he was going to take the Jags as well.
I know ball.
I've been going back and
Oh,
forth all
so-
week.
I hope that you do take the Jags. I could be the only one
Wow.
taking the Chargers here.
I heard.
I like
don't.
that better.
But I don't like.
I actually don't like
the
when we
Jags.
all have the same pick. It makes me
No,
nervous.
I actually
me
don't
too.
like it either. I love when we have different.
I like,
picks.
I like
the
being on
Bengals-
Rip's side.
the Bengals
I don't like being on your guys' side.
Fair.
To be honest.
I mean, this guy's a cool dude.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I like being on all your sides.
Nah, Dehls, I can't believe it, dude.
Why?
You
I'll be
know,
honest.
I'm
I'll
shocked.
pick the Chargers
No,
this
I'm
week, and
shocked too.
then next week they go against the Bills or Chiefs. Like, come on, bro. We're just
What?
we're,
If
If the
You-
Chargers
you-
beat, if
you-
the
I
Chargers
get it.
face the Chiefs, I bet you pick the Chargers.
no way.
If the Chargers play the
Liar.
Chiefs, it'd be an unbelievable game.
He's a liar.
You would pick the Chargers.
Oh yeah.
It'd be hard not to.
Yeah, see?